We're here at Sandy Beach on the south shore of Oahu, just around the corner from Waikiki, where modern surfing first began. Historically, the South Shore has been a special place for all surfers, but despite its heritage, there's never been a major pro contest held here. Well, the TDK Gotcha Pro changed all that, and now it's the 4th year and worth $80,000. This contest has become one of the most colorful and spectacular events on the ASP World Tour. I'm Sonny Miller, and this is Surfer Magazine. We're dropping in on the South Shore for a full range. This place is a total carnival. Huge crowds and tons of sun. There's a $4,000 bodyboarding contest, and over $3,000 is up for grabs in the Bikini Challenge. But we're really here to see the world's best surfers battle it out with a $10,000 first prize. Brace yourself.
Don't touch that dial, or else!
In today's competitive world of professional surfing, each contest starts with over 100 trialists, whose ultimate dream is the winner's circle. But most know they'll probably have to settle for some valuable rating points and maybe a few $100. To find out what it takes to be a pro surfer, we're going to meet a few of the competitors. From the battling trialists trying to gain a foothold in the sport, to the top seed, the man everyone's trying to beat, the explosive Martin Potter. The nearby island of Maui is home for Mike Crow, a young surfer who may well be the typical modern rookie. Mike's so new at this that you can't even find his name on the ASP rating sheet. Last week, we caught up with Mike as he was working on his strategy.
Since it's at Sandy Beach, I'll working on the small wave surfing, backside, and basically trying to find the worst wave I can every day, and surfing that for a few hours, and building up my leg strength.
Getting ready for the groveling qualifying trials is serious business. The trials are made up of 50 four-man heats that the rookies have to go through just to get a start in the main event. Mike, he was looking ready. Earlier today, in the first round of qualifying heats, Mike Crow and 79 other trialists battle it out in small, wind-blown waves, just as Mike had predicted. With inconsistent conditions like this, it was a fierce scrap for wave position. Crow first got in a collision, and then found himself penalized for interference after taking off on the same wave as another contestant. And that was the end of the road for Mike Crow and many other trialists in the deadly first qualifying round.
I'm sure we hated each other for about, 30 seconds, but after that, it was cool. We both wanted the wave really bad, we both caught it, and one guy had to get a triangle, and that was me.
Things weren't much easier for the ranked surfers. Take Jeff Booth, for example, who's in his second year as a full-time pro and was ranked 33rd in the world at the end of last year. Booth has been making a steady rise up the ratings ever since, and coming into this contest, he was rated 17th in the world. But he lost out in the second round of the main event.
If you're in the top 16, you lose first round to 17th, but someone like me came from the trials, I worked my ass off, had some really close heats, and then I lose 17th. You just kind of say, what the hell? What's going on here?
For Jeff Booth, the next few days will be spent thinking about what went wrong and working on the problem before the next of 20 more big money tournaments he'll surf in this year. Even so, underneath that cool exterior, isn't he just fuming mad?
I used to beat my boards up, but after hitting the stringer so many times and cutting my knuckles up, I just figured it's better not to do that. It's not the board's fault, it's your fault.
But while all these qualifying and first round heats were going off, all the buzz on the beach was about this man, 24-year-old Martin Potter.
Like I said, I was never a natural competitor, I always sort of wanted to do things my way. And, I've always surfed my own way. I've always you know, and it was at a stage there where I didn't, you know, I had to conform and do something that I didn't want to do, so you could say I rebelled quite a bit, actually.
Well, whatever happened to Martin Potter, it sure seemed to be working, because he had just won 5 out of the last 6 World Tour contests. Even so, Potter was keeping his guard up.
The moment I take someone easy, I think that's the minute I'm going to lose. Now it feels a lot better because I've sort of got a couple of wins under my belt, and I've got a good start, and I'm sort of starting to relax a little bit more now and just start surfing, you know, and so the tables are turned, you know, instead of me trying to catch everyone else, they've got to try and catch me now, and it feels good.
Yeah, I'd like to see Derrico and Martin Potter in the finals.
Martin Lynch?
Yeah, he just lost.
Oh, he did? Oh. Brag your luck.
Derek is going to win it. Derek will take it again.
The atmosphere here is very reflective of the company style. You know? If you come to our office, there's a vibe in our office. I mean, it's not as intense as it is here, but it's the same kind of thing, you know.
This year's 1989 TDK Gotcha Pro Bodyboard Champion is Kyle Malinger from Florida.
Despite video technology and surfing on the television, there's still nothing quite as dramatic as seeing surfing on the big screen. Well, this year, there's a surf movie in production that promises to be the most exciting release of the decade. With a budget of nearly $500,000 and with Bill Delaney shooting and directing, Surfers may well be the most ambitious surf movie ever made. Surfers won't be ready for theatrical release until early 1990, but the scope of this movie is already creating a stir. Bill Delaney's film will cover the sport and art of surfing from the classic days of the 60s through the high-performance evolution of the 70s, right up to today's era of high-tech equipment and professionalism. But Surfers is no rough-and-ready documentary. Bill Delaney is a true artist in film, and the contemporary action in this movie has been shot to maximize the impact of the real-life surfing experience.
You know, there's really two ways to approach filming as surfing. One way is to be invisible, to let people look at the screen and just be close to the surfing and not be conscious of any of the photography. And water shots work in that way sometimes, in that when you're standing on the beach and you look out there and you see this great ride, your mind is out there close to the guy. You know, you tune out all this stuff around you. And so certainly the water shots work that way, and a lot of the slow motion stuff that we do works that way because your mind slows it down. And so we're really trying to just give people a clear vision. On the other hand, we're also trying to accentuate some things, and the water photography is really good in isolating maneuvers. We've got really good water photographers. Don King is doing some spectacular stuff. Steve Spalding did some great stuff. Jeff New shot some good stuff for us. We're just trying to capture what's going on and give people a good view of contemporary surfing.
Another reason why Surfers promises to be unique is because Bill Delaney has tracked down famous faces, past and present, to make a comprehensive statement.
In the faces of the surfers, there's something that's all the same, you know. This you know, it's freedom or something, man. It's being there with the ocean. You know, the idea about this film is there isn't a narrator. There isn't some outside person that's like this voice, you know, some guy that's got this wonderful voice, and so we give him these words to say. We're letting surfers tell their own story.
Good? Got it.
Okay, how important is it for a surfer to be an individual, to have an individual style and sort of form his own direction?
Well, I think that's one of the most important things in being a surfer. I mean, not necessarily a pro surfer, but just any surfer. You know, having your own identity, having your own style, having your own spray on your surfboards. You know, it's one of the thing that surfing's all about.
It was just more or less understood that the best surfer in the water got the best waves. There was a reason for that. It was mainly because he knew where to sit or where to line up. He knew which waves were the good waves. He had the spot wired. He had better equipment. He had more time in the water. It was an unspoken thing. It was just something that kind of everyone knew, you know. Here comes Paul Stroud, you know, when he's paddling for a wave, you just stand back and watch, let him go ahead. You might learn something.
That's going to be shown, you know, as sort of in the tradition of surf films, you know. I mean, this is not a video, you know. It's like you have to care enough to go out to a theater to see this film, and you know, you have to go out and hang out with surfers for one night if you want to see surfers.
Bill Delaney's Surfers. It's a surf movie epic that'll be showing at a theater near you next spring. Meanwhile, let's go back to the gritty reality of modern contests with our host, Sonny Miller.
The $5,000 Pink Cadillac Expression Session is a special demonstration heat at the TDK Gotcha Pro that gives a crowd a classic illustration of the kind of big moves that really count on the judges' score sheet. Wow, how radical was that? These guys go off. With 5 categories for $1,000 each, the surfers were pulling out all the stops. Aerials, backside cutbacks, frontside cutbacks, cutback off the lip combinations, bottom turn rebound combinations. The Expression Session is a dazzling freeform display of surfing's cutting edge. In the end, it was Hawaiian Sonny Garcia who took the $1,000 for the best off the lip. Australian Glenn Winton was most futuristic. And as expected, Potts was on fire with the best floater. Not content to stop there, the best cutback. And of course, he took the best aerial, picking up a cool $3,000 for 20 minutes of free surfing fun, but clearly showing why he's the man to beat in the TDK Gotcha Pro.
More Surfer Magazine from Gotcha Pro after this.
Welcome back to the 1989 TDK Gotcha Pro, where we're picking up the action in the quarterfinals. This is a critical heat for Australian Tom Carroll as he goes up against the favorite Martin Potter. Carroll, as you remember, missed out on the world title last year on this interference call, while Potter's been on an incredible roll. And in this heat is threatening to break the record for the most consecutive heats won, a record held jointly by former world champions Tom Carroll and Tom Curran. But you can see Potts is going for it, and his Expression Session performance has got him amped up. But here comes Tom Carroll, and he's tearing these tiny waves apart. Look at the power he's finding even in these sloppy conditions. This heat is really a clash of the titans, and it looks to me like it's neck and neck between Potter and Carroll. Let's look at Tom Carroll's winning performance again. He was ripping out there, giving it everything to stop Potter right here in the quarters. People have been awfully quick to write him off after that world title mistake, but he's still a great surfer, and this result has to be a tremendous confidence booster to his career. And Potts, clearly frustrated. The best waves just didn't come his way. He's got to be bummed. Here's Dada Figueiredo, the last surviving trialist, but he's up against the much more experienced Aussie, Bryce Ellis. And while Dada's got lots of energy, Ellis is just too consistent and too precise to be beaten by enthusiasm alone. But let's see how the judges scored it. In other quarterfinal action, Dave McCauley from Western Australia was going off against Sonny Garcia. McCauley had all the big moves covered, and he likes Sandy Beach. It's a lot like Triggs Point, where he surfs at home down under. Garcia, of course, was one of the local favorites, but not good enough today to stop McCauley. The last quarterfinal was also a big one. Derek Ho, the defending champion, just charging against Gary Elkerton, who just couldn't keep up with the local boy. So it's Derek Ho up against Dave McCauley in the semifinal showdown. It's kind of ironic these two should face off in the semifinals, because surf journalist Derek Hine just told me that Triggs Point and Sandy Beach are almost identical kinds of breaks, and McCauley skates across Sandy Beach flat spots using the same technique that Derek Ho used when he won this contest last year. McCauley rides this kind of stuff so well that other pros have given him the nickname the Mosquito. But Derek Ho's got the bigger moves going here, and you know the judges are gonna like that. In the other semifinal, Bryce Ellis went up against Tom Carroll, and Bryce was looking good out there. Big moves and really showing control, while Carroll spent the entire heat trying to get some carving rhythm going. Former junior world champ Bryce Ellis was looking very confident, while Carroll was out of sync and out of time. It's another upset. So this is it, the final showdown in the 1989 TDK Gotcha Pro. The local Hawaiian and defending champion Derek Ho against the surprise finalist Australian Bryce Ellis. As the contestants head out to Full Point here at Sandy Beach, the crowd is pumped. So sit back and check it out. was that intense or what? Let's quickly catch up with Derek Ho and see what he's got to say after this incredible final clash. Derek, an unreal final. How do you feel about that?
I felt pretty good. Got a few good waves in the middle of the heat. I'm glad I got them done because there wasn't too much in the ending. I feel really good.
Don't go away. We'll be back with a judge's decision right after this. And now the results of the 1989 TDK Gotcha Pro.
Champion is Mr. Derek Ho.
You know, everyone's been saying, you know, Martin Potter, Derek Ho final. You know, that's what they wanted to see. Well, you know, I held up my side of the draw. You know, unfortunately, he wasn't there, so, you know, I guess it's a bummer for him, but I'm sure he's not unhappy. You know, I've been surfing here for, you know, a number of years, and, you know, it's a really difficult wave to surf if, you know, you don't have any practice here. So, and I put a lot of practice out here, and I'm, you know, really fortunate for them to even have an event here. So, you know, I'm really happy.
So there it is. Derek Ho wins the TDK Gotcha Pro for the second time at his local break. It was dramatic despite the small wave conditions. Martin Potter and Derek Ho are now number 1 and 2 on the ASP ratings with 20 events left on the 1989 World Tour. Next week, we're going home to California for a Golden State surf session. I'm Sonny Miller for Surfer Magazine, and until then, we're out of here.